Good evening, everybody. We are just about to get started. It is awesome to be here with you all. My goodness, there are so many people coming in as we speak, and I am so honored to be your host tonight. Let me just stop sharing my screen so I can see all of you who are joining me live, and just make sure that you can see. Let me see. There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It is so good. We have hundreds of people chiming in. Say hello. Let me know in the chat box where you are coming from, and let me know where in the world. I'm coming from Spain tonight, which is pretty awesome. And this is a very casual conversation that we're going to have tonight about desire, developing your desire so you can achieve anything that you want. Oh my goodness, we got people from Kansas, Ireland, let me see, India, Norway, London, Kenya, County Down. Always good to have you here. Awesome. So lovely to be here with you all. As I said, I am coming to you live from very hot and very sunny Spain. I think today it was nearly hitting 40 degrees. I know it's very warm back home as well. So it is so great to be here. We've got Brazil in the house as well, Dubai. Oh my goodness, we are totally impacting the world tonight. How amazing. Now, I would just ask you from the outset of the call, if everyone can stay muted, I would really appreciate that. And we get a nice clean call here tonight. And my job tonight is to serve you. My job tonight is to help you develop your desire. I'm not in my normal setting, but the reason that I put on this webinar is kind of a last minute idea in the last kind of week or two, simply because if you have, I don't know where you've been, if you haven't heard about Inception, which of course is our 2-day exclusive live event coming up at the end of the month, 30th and 31st, just in a very short space of time, and just maybe under, 2 weeks now. And that will be happening in Northern Ireland. We're on stage live, and of course, you're all welcome. But the reason that I'm doing this webinar tonight is, of course, to tell you about that, but also I've been studying for it, I've been creating for it, and I'm away at the moment, and I just thought, you know what, I really want to talk to people about desire. And if you know me, some of you may not, I may be completely new to you in your world, but some of you who may know me know that I like to serve, even when I'm out of the country, even when I could be outside in the sun. I want to be here with you. So it is my honor to be here, and I am really looking forward to tonight. It's going to be very casual, but it's going to be very inspiring and intense in the fact of you're going to possibly hear things tonight that you didn't maybe know, or you're going to hear things that you've heard many times before, but they're going to kind of hopefully really hit the nail on the head tonight. And that is my goal tonight, is to really help you understand desire, why it is absolutely vital to your success. In fact, it is the first principle of success. And without it, your goals, your wants, everything that you desire will not happen if you don't understand the power of desire. So this is a really important topic. It's one that I have never really taught just singularly by itself before, but I wanted to do it tonight to give you a better insight, a better understanding, so that you can really go, hold on a minute, anything is possible for me. And it really, truly is. Now, just before we get started, I would say set your intentions for being here. Why did you show up? We've got nearly 250 people on so far. I would say there'll be more joining us as we move on. But ask yourself, why are you here? Is it because you're just nosy and you want to find out what is she doing? Or is it that you're actually genuinely interested and, more importantly, committed in creating a life of design, a life that you have created in your mind so you can hold it in your hand? Hopefully that is the reason. And I'm so grateful to have you all here. This is totally free. I wanted to give value to you all tonight. And you can let me all know at the end if I have done my job in doing that. All right. So more and more people are coming in. Say hello in the chat box. This is live. I am here. The tan is real, and we're all good. I can see some of you as well. So it's lovely to always be able to see some of you. And feel free to just keep chatting in the chat box. I will not always be able to keep my eye on it, or I will not be able to focus on serving you, but we will surely keep an eye on that as much as we can. Again, just please stay muted throughout so that we can get a clear teaching. If you have learned from me, or you have been around me before, you'll know that I very much teach in spirit. I just kind of give you what flows to and through me, and that's why I say it's a casual conversation. There's no slides, there's no fancy stuff. It might go this way, it might go that way, but I'll tell you one thing: you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear if you set yourself an intention. So Eileen, this is your first time. Hello, it is good to have you here. Let me know if this is your first time ever joining me on any sort of teaching. If it is, my name is Kim Calvert. It's good to be here. And my role and what I do is I'm a high performance mentor. I help people achieve goals, close the gap from where they are to where they truly want to be, and basically live the life they really, truly want to live. And while sometimes that sounds like airy-fairy, could this really be real? Can this really work for me? I am physical living proof. And I'm from a very tiny little island called Northern Ireland and the UK. And trust me, if I've been able to make it work, anybody can. All right. So really just lean into this. Be open. Napoleon Hill, who wrote this book, Think and Grow Rich, which of course my mentor Bob Proctor was such an advocate for, he really said open-mindedness is the key to being able to tap into this greater abundant life. And I'm going to guess a lot of you here, we're now up to near 260 people. A lot of you are here for a reason, but I want you to get clear on that reason at the moment. So what is your intention? As you're coming here tonight, really truly ask yourself, don't just say, oh, that's a nice little thing that she says. No, genuinely answer it. Why are you here? Why did you show up? What is it that you're seeking? What is it that you're searching for? Because if you can even just set an intention from the outset of this, we're going to be here for maybe an hour, 90 minutes, perhaps, depending on what the spirit has to flow through me. But ask yourself, why are you here? Now, that question from the outset sometimes can really stump people, because you might be going, Kim, well, that's why I'm here. I don't know. But I ask you to just, even if it's broad, even if it's super general, then write it down. One of the key things you're going to want to have tonight is a notepad. Get your pen, and I've got my pen here. Get your pen, get your notepad, and write at the top of this page, desire, okay? And then write down 1 or 3 intentions. I think you have 1 to 3. Maybe you have a question that you're really wanting guidance on. Maybe you are looking clarity. Maybe you're just genuinely just being nosy, okay? If you're just here because you're being nosy, that's okay. I love it. I want you to be nosy. I want you to hear about this. But for you to get the most out of tonight, if you set an intention, you are aligning your focus. I would love to understand this, or I would love to gain clarity on this, or I would like to solve this problem. If you come in with a focus and you give attention to what you want, I guarantee you will find it. Some people are saying momentum. Let me know in the chat box, why are you here? Set and achieve my goals and find myself. Perfect. Okay, these are all great things. So let me know. I want to keep this very open. As I say, I'm a high performance mentor. It kind of sounds, every time somebody asks me, what do you do? And I say that, they kind of go, okay, what is that? And essentially what it is I help people just like you develop the infinite potential within to bring it without so that you can achieve incredible things in your life. That is what I do. Okay. So just a reminder, please do stay muted as much as you can. I know sometimes your hands can slip and you can unmute, but stay muted if you can. So as I say, what I do is I'm just a facilitator to helping you navigate your way through life. Okay. I never put myself on a pedestal. I never think I am bigger or better than anybody else. But what I may have is a greater awareness and understanding to how results happen in our life. And the only reason that I have this understanding is because once upon a time, I was possibly a bit like you. And what I mean by that is there was once upon a time, in fact, it was 6 years this month, I was so lost. I was so broke mentally, physically, financially. I was stuck. Can anybody resonate? Does anybody feel stuck? It's okay, guys. If you do feel stuck, that is okay to admit. This is a very safe space. Everyone here is like-minded and we all want growth and expansion. And hopefully that is some of your intentions coming here tonight. You want more. And I'm going to show you, not only is it okay to want more, but I'm going to explain to you how that really operates. Now, we're going to stay really focused on desire. I could talk about so many different topics. And if you have already signed up to come to Inception, our 2-day live event, we can come in person and see me on stage, maybe meet me, get a photograph, or you can get a live streaming ticket as well. I'm actually going to pop the link in the chat box just in case anybody wants to grab that. But stay focused on me, okay? Now, as I've said, it's important to set intentions. We want to get clear on what it is that you want to get out of tonight. But I'm also going to give you a wee bit of an overview of what my intentions are tonight. And my intentions are really just to open up your mind to a greater possibility for you. I am here to really give you some understanding that I was able to gain. As I said, 6 years ago, my life was a totally different story. Okay. In fact, me and Lindsay were walking around today here in Marbella and we were laughing because literally 6 years ago, I had to borrow £500 to go away on a holiday to Marbella. It was the first time I'd ever come here. And I had to borrow £500 from my best friend, not tell anybody because I was embarrassed. And now we're here and we have purchased our own dream villa. It's getting built here in Marbella. We just came over to see it today. And my goodness, has our lives changed. Now, it's not about the things. It's not about the villas. It's not about cars and all of that stuff or money. But I'll tell you what, those are great byproducts of having a success mindset. And that's really what I have dedicated my life to in the last 6 years, is to helping people waking up one thought at a time. And that's, I think, a really lovely way to put it, because a lot of times we get very frantic and very like, well, I got to change this and I want to do this and I want to do that. And suddenly there's all these things that we want and we don't really get anywhere. Can anybody relate to that? Okay. And I want to really give you some guidance tonight that my mentor gave me, because what I did 6 years ago was I stopped. I paused and I started to think for the first time. And I was 28 years old. I'm 35 now. And at that time, like every 28-year-old, I probably thought I had it all kind of worked out, but I didn't. And I was a nurse. Most of you probably know that. I was a nurse, band 7 clinical nurse specialist working in the field of psychiatry. And it was a wonderful job. It was a great career. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't fulfilling me. It certainly was not allowing me time freedom. And it definitely was not allowing me financial freedom. So these are the two big things that are really going to help you break free. Because let's be honest, they're two of the big things that keep us stuck a lot of the time. You don't have the time to do what you want, and you don't have the money to do what you want. Okay. So desire is what we're talking about tonight. And if you have a desire to do something, it probably is going to take time and it's probably going to take money. And neither of those things that I have. And I also want to know, can anyone relate to the fact of you may have lack of focus? You may feel like you're not disciplined. You may feel like you've low energy. Does anybody relate to that? Does anybody here feel like they're reacting to life? It's kind of like, remember that little game when you were a kid, Hungry Hippos, and once one wee head comes up, you've got it down, another one comes up. It's almost like we're firefighting through life. Yes, we've got people saying, yep, I resonate, low energy. Yep, firefighting. Got it. And here's the thing, guys, you're not alone. 97% of the population are feeling the same. And I was in that group and I didn't like it, but I didn't know any better. And I think that is really why I'm so passionate about helping people and sharing this information, because you have a right to know. You really do. You have a right to understand these principles, these success principles, these universal principles that can allow anybody from any part of the world, any color of skin, any person from any culture, you can have success. Absolutely. So what you've got to ask yourself tonight is that what you want? Do you want success? Do you desire to have more than what you have? And the key and the answer probably is yes. Now, back then when I found myself in this place and I started to stop and think and kind of go, hold on a minute, I'm going round in circles. And kind of nothing was making sense in my life, because I was even sharing a story the other day to one of my clients. When I was at university, in fact, even before university, my teachers always told me I wouldn't do very well. In fact, my business studies teacher told me, Kim, you're a lovely person and your personality will take you anywhere, but you probably won't do very well in business. Well, now that I run an 8-figure company, I think perhaps she got it wrong. Okay. And I don't blame that teacher. I'm not angry. I'm really grateful because I have been able to find a very simple, straightforward, step-by-step plan that has allowed me and will continue to allow me to expand, not only in physical things, because that's not what life's about. Okay, the things are great. Don't get me wrong. I love cars. That's kind of like my thing. But it's the fulfillment. It's the joy. It's the calmness of mind. It's the knowing that every day you're living life on your terms. When you're able to serve others, when you're able to help people. I was just talking to my mum today because she's obviously back home and she's minding my 2 little dogs. And dear helper, she told me she took them out for a walk. And if anybody has little Jack Russells like mine, they don't walk like little princesses. They kind of trail you up the road. And I was laughing because I just was able to get my mum a hip replacement done. And that's what I'm talking about, as in why wanting success, wanting abundance is so beautiful. Because right now, if I hadn't have been able to take my mum private, because unfortunately there's a very long waiting list, if I couldn't have done that for my mum, if I hadn't have made the decision to quit my job, even though my mum was the very person who said, no, don't give up the government job, don't give up the pension, don't give up all those years at university. Well, she's very glad now, because I was able to bring her and give her 2 new hips, which is wonderful. So I was laughing today because now she's paying for it because she has to walk my 2 little dogs. But this is what I'm talking about. That made me so full of joy today. Because, I mean, you've all got parents, and whether they're here in the physical plane or maybe they've passed on, the love that you have for your family, the love that you have for people in your life, that is what life is about. Love is level of vibrational energy. That's what love is all about. And I understand it in an energy sense and able to tap into it so that I can give more to the people that I love. And tonight I want to give you more so that you can go ahead and pass that on to others. So tonight is going to be awesome. We've now reached 300 people, which is incredible. So as I was saying, 6 years ago, life was just so different. Now, I'm going to weave my story and a couple of other stories into tonight's lesson, because Storytelling is the best way. And ultimately, that's what I've got to share. And as I've mentioned, 6 years ago, I was very broke. I had £4.20 to my name when I decided to quit my good government job with a pension. Not such a sensible thing to do. Needless to say, I never told my parents, because if I had told them that, they absolutely would have really been cross, to put it politely. Okay. And, but something happened to me. And what happened to me was I came across something a bit like this. I came across a mentor. At that time, it was Bob Proctor. And this man was telling me there's a science to success. You can have anything that you desire. Now, when you're from Northern Ireland, you don't really always believe these things, okay? I thought, well, that's okay. That's in America. And I kind of was interested, but not really totally sure. So if you're on here tonight and you're thinking, I'm a little bit skeptical, I'm not sure if I should believe her or not, I'm okay with that, because I was that person too, all right? I'm very down to earth. I say it as it is. And hopefully that will go well with you tonight, okay? Now, I came across, as I say, a video a bit like this, and there was this man, Bob Proctor, sharing the science of the mind. And I'd never heard of it spoken in this way. And yet I was a mental health nurse for 9.5 years at a very high level, working in the field of the mind. And yet he was saying things I'd never come across in university. I'd never been taught by my family. In fact, I was taught by my mom and dad to work hard, get a good job, and then you'll do well. But I worked hard, I got a good job, and I wasn't doing very well. And maybe some of you can relate. And I think now, especially in the world that we live in, the world's changing. The world is definitely changing, but it's always changing, because nothing stays the same. And that's why we've got to realize that change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. And I made that choice 6 years ago, that I thought, do you know what? My way is not working. I'm not happy. I'm going round in circles, not even just in my job, but in my relationships. Can anybody relate to where you kind of end up getting into different relationships with the same person? Has that ever happened? They're just in a different body. And you're kind of like, what is going on? Why am I attracting this? And the truth is, you are attracting it. But when you don't know that you're attracting it, it's very hard to change. And you just kind of hope that the next time will be better. You hope that when somebody says, oh, I'm going to change and it's going to be different, that they will. But it's not always the case. So that's why when I watched Bob and he started to talk about desire, and he started to talk, well, he just kept asking the question, what do you really want? What do you really want? And he must have said it 1,000 times, because I was also the person, and there might be some in here tonight, I watched every YouTube clip. I bought every book that was mentioned. I done everything. I was just going through everything, because I thought, well, the answer will be in the next video, and the answer will be in the next video. And there was nights where I'm lying in my bed, falling asleep, going, no, it might be in the next video. Well, I'm telling you now, guys, the answer's not in the videos. The answer's not even here tonight. The answer's in you. And that's what I didn't realize, because I didn't realize that I was the answer and I was the problem. And the good thing about hearing that is, if you're the problem and you're the solution, it means you're the only person that can change it, and you full control of it. It's nothing to do with the economy, believe it or not. How much money I have, my financial freedom does nothing to do with what's going on in the world today. But my goodness, that is such a big idea that if you said to most people, they would look at you funny. Okay, so I will say things tonight that might make you go, that's not what I think. That's not what I believe. And that's okay. You don't have to believe me. But I would ask you to just listen and be open-minded and not reject everything, but equally, you don't have to accept everything, because you also have the power to do that. And that is where we're really going to get into tonight. Now, I made that decision, and that really is where it all starts, a decision. Because what you're going to go over tonight, there's a couple of points. I'm going to teach you what is it that the 3% of people, the 3% of high achievers that are winning in life, what do they know that we don't know? What were they taught that we weren't taught? I'm going to help you understand how to move from chaos to clarity in what you truly want. Because I mentioned Bob continuously asked me, Kim, what do you want? Now, he wasn't saying Kim because he was on the screen. I'd never even dreamt that I would meet Bob Proctor, never mind be his #1 global consultant at an executive diamond level. Never did I think that I would be working side by side him for the last 6 years. And I am so grateful and so honored. Bob thankfully got to see last year when we purchased the villa, and we came over here last year, totally terrified, not knowing what we were doing, but going with it. And I remember ringing him up from Spain last year going, we did it, we bought it. And he was just so overjoyed because he knew that I really had been able to change my thinking and change my results. And that's really what tonight is about, to get you to understand how you can develop your desire. But it all starts with that question. What do you truly want? Now, the first time I heard that, I kind of just heard it and went, what do you want? Okay, well, I want to have more money so that I don't have debt. I want to be free of all these negative thoughts. I want to not have to do X, Y, Z. My wants sucked, for a better word, because they're not goals. They're not exciting. That's not going to make me jump out of bed. Woohoo, I'm going to pay my debts. Like, that's not going to give you any sort of drive whatsoever. And I'm sharing this with you because this is where it starts. You might actually be thinking and wanting the wrong thing. If you want more abundance and prosperity in your life, don't have a goal to pay debt or to remove negative thoughts. I often get asked, because now obviously Bob has taught me, I am his #1, and I'm so grateful to be able to share this with people, but I often get asked, Kim, how do I remove all these blocks, all these limiting beliefs? How do I, get rid of all these money paradigms, if you've heard of that word? And I don't teach like that. I don't focus on the negative. I have no interest in helping you remove negative beliefs, believe it or not. I am really interested in helping install money beliefs in you, not removing negative limiting beliefs. And this is really key. Sometimes we're focused on the wrong things, and anything you give your attention and focus to, energy flows to. Write that down. Whatever you give energy and focus to, more energy will go to it. It will expand and grow. So if you're thinking about debt, if you're thinking about lack of any description, guess what you're doing? You're creating more of it. Now, that might already be like a light bulb moment to you. If it's not, that's okay. But if you're seeing still results in your life that you're not really loving, then I can tell you now that that is what you've been desiring, because you always get what you desire in life. Now, one of the big things that I want to share with you tonight is desire sometimes can sound very positive, can't it? You kind of think, oh, what do I desire? But here's the real truth, guys. Desire is neither negative or positive. In fact, I asked somebody the other day, what do you think desire means? And they gave me such a good answer back. They said, it's when you're compelled to do something. It's when you're compelled and you just act on it. But that's not always positive. How many times, and be honest, how many times have you said you're going to go to the gym, but your bed just was a lot more comfier, or sitting watching the TV was comfier? Well, actually, you desired to sit in your house more than you desired to go to the gym. Maybe you desire to eat unhealthy foods more than you desire to be healthy. So you see, desire is always working, but you are the person that really points in the direction of, is it going to be a positive outcome or is it going to be a negative outcome? Okay. So these are things that Bob has taught me. Now let's go back to, what do you want? And why do we need to start there? And the reason we need to start there is because wants and desires are two completely different things. Okay. So I want you to understand this tonight, because there is a lot of people that want more. In fact, I would say all of you, hundreds of people that are joining me now, you all want more, or you wouldn't be on this call. Now, if you want more, we've got to ask ourselves, why do you not have it? And the reason is because wants are on a conscious level. Now, I'm going to explain to you very broadly, because we only have a short time together, but I'm going to explain to you something that is going to underpin you achieving the results that you want, and that is the mind. Your results are a direct reflection of how you think. It is your mindset that is creating your result. All right. No matter what way you put it, no matter how much you might want to argue, all science, all theology have agreed that we become what we think about. So we've got to really get to the root cause of our results. Now, in this world that we live in, there are universal laws, and this might be new to you. It was definitely new to me. And to be honest, I thought it was a bit of hocus pocus at the start. And I didn't even dare tell anybody about it because they'd think I'd lost the plot. But what I've since come to understand is it's true. Just as much as I lift up my phone and I drop it, the law of gravity, we do not deny it. Do you know why we don't deny it? Because I can see it. I can see my phone dropping, therefore I believe it. But here's the thing that I didn't know. There's loads of other universal laws that you cannot see with your eyes that are also working just as accurately as gravity. And they are operating in your life today. They are defining how you create the results in your life. And we were not taught them in school. So when it comes to creating a life of abundance, creating ease, flow, and joy, the effortless way, there's a way to do it. But you've got to understand the universal laws. Now, one of the laws is the law of cause and effect. And it is the law of all laws. Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was a great teacher back a long time ago, he said, this is the law of laws. Because for every cause, there is an equal and opposite effect. Now, really, you might have heard this of kind of like the law of karma. Law of karma is kind of like a slang. It's not really a real law. It's kind of like a more popular word, shall we say, for the law of cause and effect. Okay. And what I realized and what I didn't know was every time I was thinking something, that energy, because thought is the most potent energy on the planet. Oh my goodness, I did not know that many years ago. The things I used to think in my head, I did not want anybody to know what was going on in there. But the thing is, everything that goes on in the inside duplicates and comes out on the outside and shows up on the outside. So when I started to understand that there's this law of cause and effect, and that everything has a cause, basically meaning there's a reason for every effect in your life. Let's call the effects your results. And this might be a good time to ask yourself, what are your results like? What is your finances like? What is your relationships like? What is your health like? What is the quality of your home? Like, just think about your life and your results right now. Now, this is not to make you feel bad or good. It just is. Because the beautiful thing is everything just is. And I never really understood that either. And the truth is everything just is. It's your thinking that makes it something. Ever wonder, maybe you have a partner or family member and you could be looking at a glass of water and think, oh, that's half full. And the other person goes, no, it's half empty. And it's kind of like, well, who's right? And the truth is both. It's the perception of the person. Now, perception can cause arguments sometimes, but the truth is everybody has the right to a belief, to a perception. And our results in life, the effects, are always coming from a cause. And this cause is your conditioned way of thinking. Now, what I learned and what I didn't realize was that the mind is where everything is created. It kind of sounds pretty simple. And even as a mental health nurse at a pretty high level, I didn't really get that. And that makes me believe that a lot of people don't really get that. And I know it to be true because there's so many people wanting more in their life, but they're not able to achieve it. And the reason is because results come from a specific part in your mind. Now, you got to first ask yourself, what is the mind? And the mind, in fact, let's ask you, what is the mind? Pop into the chat box what you believe the mind is, or what comes into your mind when I ask you, what is the mind? Let me see what you've come up with. Okay, we've got some smarty pants in here. That's good. Mind is movement. Yes, it's an activity. Okay, we've got very highly aware people in here. This is good. I like it. All right. So I wasn't as smart as you when I began. I thought the mind was the brain. In fact, I give a lecture in Queen's University to professors that taught me and said I wouldn't do very well. And they didn't know either. They thought it was the brain too. In fact, one of them said, it's kind of like a walnut or a hazelnut or something, you know, the wee little wrinkly nuts that you get. That one definitely made me laugh. And the truth is, the mind is activity. You can't see it. Nobody's seen it. And that's why when it comes to when you're feeling not so good, or even when you're feeling good, we get really confused because the mind is so intricate, but we can't see it. And then that causes confusion. Now, it causes confusion because your mind operates in images. So when we don't have an image for the mind, we have this kind of fuzziness. We're kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure what it is. Now, mind is activity. And what that means is mind is energy. And there's energy all around us. Your energy, I'm energy. This page is energy. This computer is energy. I'm able to communicate with hundreds of you all across the world, all at the same time, because of this wonderful energy that we've learned to harness and use and turn into what we call Wi-Fi. Okay, we can thank Marconi for that back in the day. And the mind is something that a lot of us don't understand, and yet it is absolutely critical because it's where results come from. Now, you might be asking, Kim, what has this got to do with desire? Well, it's got to do with desire because, and I'm going to read this out because I love what Bob always used to tell me. He says, Kim, desire is the unexpressed possibility seeking expression without through your actions. Okay, write that down if you can. Desire is the unexpressed possibility seeking expression without through your actions. One more time. Okay, desire is the unexpressed, okay, possibility seeking expression without through your action. Now, what on earth does that mean? Okay. Well, desire is unexpressed possibility. It's inside you. It's within you. You see, all of you want more. In fact, everybody on this call, even me included, have desires to want more. And even when you achieve a goal, you want more. And when you go to the gym, you want to get fitter. And when you run, you want to run faster. It is in our DNA. So you can't get away from it. And why I'm sharing that with you is because when I was young, I was always taught to not want more, to not talk about money. Oh, you do not talk about the M word. Like, no way. And I was always kind of told just to be grateful for what I have. And I think there's absolutely truth in that. You should, and 100%, you must be grateful for what you have, or you will not receive more. But the truth is, there is more. And my honest belief, and it's not even a belief, it's a knowing, it's an unwavering faith, is that the fact that you desire is the fact that you have air in your lungs. If you had no desire to wake up tomorrow morning, you wouldn't. It's just the truth. If you didn't have desire in your life, you wouldn't have life. Desire is the very essence of who you are. And yet, unfortunately, most of us have been taught it's bad to want. Oh, you don't want the neighbors to see that. Do you know there's people never drive the car they want to drive because they're worried about what the neighbors will say? It's crazy when you think about it. You don't really go for the job promotion because what will the other people in the office think? You don't really want to go on the fancy holiday and put your pictures on social media because you don't want to be that person. What does that person mean? Like, I am on a mission to break this, because don't get me wrong, guys, there are people that have lots of money and they do not so good things, and it would definitely put you off wanting money. But here's the thing, it's not the money's fault. Good people, when they get money, become better. Not so good people that get money don't usually do good things with money. But it's not money's fault. And I've always been wanting to close this gap in showing people you can have it all and be a normal person. Like my dream car, when Bob asked me, Kim, what do you want? I was like, well, when I got past, the limited thinking and the small thinking, I really went for it. Because I went, okay, well, Mr. Bob Proctor, if you really are saying I can have anything, I'm going to give you a list and a half. I would love a Ferrari 488 Spider. I would love my dream home by the beach in a fancy place at home. I would love a dream villa. I would love to earn millions. I would love to help millions of people right across the world. In fact, I would love to be your number one. And I kind of just said it. And I don't really think I probably believed it at the time, but I start to learn how to believe it. Because here's the thing, no mere wishing or hoping for riches will help you obtain it. It is belief that is the key. So that's really what slows us down, because we think, well, I would love all those things and that's great, but oh no, I can't do that. I've got all those things. I'm doing all of the things that I want to do, and I'm now desiring more. Now, some people can think, well, Kim, why can't you just be happy with what you got? I am, thanks. I am. Yep, I'm really happy. But what if I can grow and be more? What if I can help more people? What if I can start to do bigger and better things? Because whilst I drive a very awesome car that I love, I've also helped 70 families in Africa create a village and have water and have healthcare. And they also are learning what we teach and thinking into results. I've been able to help my family. I've been able to do things that I won't even share with you. But that's because I started to build desires. Now, I had to first understand the mind. And I want to get you to understand this, because wants and desires, as I've said, are so different. I used to want these things, and you probably want things, but some people just, it kind of poof, goes out of their head. It's a lovely idea. But then kind of reality sinks in and you go back to work and you kind of get into the same conversations and you don't dare talk to anybody about the things that you want, because, you just don't do that. And suddenly you're back in your own little groove and things are kind of going the way they've always went. But that's not really living. That's not fulfilling you. You know it. You don't even need me to tell you, because you can feel it. You can feel it in your stomach. You could possibly feel it in your throat. I felt it in my throat. I lost my voice for 8 months before I got into this material, because I was so blocked. And I don't use this word ever, but I hated myself. I really hated myself, like to really bad extremes. really bad extremes, because I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was good enough. My biggest fear was that I was incapable of receiving love. And you know what? I don't even know why, because I don't have any trauma. I was brought up in a beautiful home with wonderful parents, but I had this weird feeling of nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. And that was horrible. And I felt it, and I didn't talk about it, but it showed up in my results. Because as I said at the start, when I started to get into relationships, guess what? People didn't love me. So guess what? People didn't treat me right. So guess what? It was a self-fulfilling prophecy that was proving to me, oh yeah, I am unlovable because they did that to me. But it wasn't them. We're always blaming things outside of ourselves. Blaming the economy, blaming bosses, blaming what's going on in the world, blaming parents, blaming everything but looking in the mirror and going, I'm the creator of my reality. My thoughts become things. Every cause has an effect. But when you don't know that, you don't know that. And I definitely didn't know it. So what I started to realize was there was things, little demons inside me, shall we call them, this little negative voice. Maybe you've heard it too. And it was telling me why I shouldn't do it, why I wasn't good enough to want these things, why I shouldn't, why I would feel. And not only did I have them inside, but when I started to share things, because I remember sitting on the Sunday at dinner with my parents, and I was kind of testing the water. I was like, well, maybe I won't always be a nurse. And yes, you will. And I'm like, okay, we're not going there again. And I started to test the water by telling people about wanting more and having dreams. And then everybody outside of me was also telling me that won't work. You can't start a business, Kim. You've no business experience. I mean, I'm dyslexic. I'm crap at maths. And I'm wanting to go into business. I'm a nurse. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Everybody was saying, don't do it. In fact, my dad said, well, it'll take you like 5 years to break even. I can't even remember breaking even. I just went straight to the top because I rejected all of these ideas. How did I reject these ideas? Wasn't that a lovely thing that you can actually go, no, I don't want to accept that. I don't believe that. Well, the only way I was able to do that was by learning to understand the mind. So I want you to understand that there are two parts to your mind, okay? One part is the conscious mind. In fact, if you want, you can draw a circle on your page and you can put a line across the middle, okay? Circle and a line. And on the top part of the circle, this is the conscious mind. And in the bottom part of the mind is the subconscious mind. You might have heard of this terminology before. And then if you draw a little line below that and another little circle, that's your body. Now that might think, well, that's not what I look like, because you look at yourself in the mirror and think, well, this is me. I've got dark hair and it's kind of a weird cut. It's long at this side, short at this side. And, this is me. I'm Kim. But that's not who you are. Oh my goodness, was I so grateful to hear that when Bob started to tell me this, because I didn't like who I was. So when he told me, oh, that's not who you are, I'm like, fee you. No, I don't really believe you, but I'm liking what I'm hearing. And what happened was I started to understand that the conscious part, that top part of the circle, that is what we call your thinking mind. That's your intellect, okay? That's where logic sits. That's where all the books go when you go to school, when you gather information. In fact, you're using your consciousness right now, because your consciousness, if you kind of draw 5 little spikes out of that circle, you've got 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell. And we've got these senses that we're going through the world picking up information. But that's not how you started. When you were conceived, okay, when mom and dad came together, I know none of us want to think about it, but when they came together, there was a little bit of mom's DNA and there was a little bit of dad's DNA. And when you put them together, it created you. Now, what that means and why I'm sharing that with you is because you were genetically programmed. Okay. It's why you look the way you look. But when you came out 280 odd days later and you arrived in this world, you came out and yes, you had that little bit of pre-programming because you were like mom and dad, but the most of your programming is environmental. It's whatever you have heard, seen, or gathered from outside of you. So if you were brought up in a home that everybody was doctors or in medicine, you often find all the kids start to go into medicine or go to university. If you were brought up in a home where parents didn't go to school, then perhaps you weren't really going down that road either. You become a product of your environment. If you heard when you were a child, we can't afford that, you're probably saying that these days, I can't afford to do that. If you heard that anything was possible as a child, then you probably have a good belief in yourself. So you see, what has happened, which you may not know, is you were pre-programmed. Now, it sounds very serious and a little bit daunting. Don't let it be. But you do have a little mental programming. Okay? That's how we all operate. Think of it like habitual patterns. We all think and do the same thing. In fact, every morning when you wake up, bang, you move into routine. And that routine is taking you through life. And probably some of us look at our routines and go, yeah, it's not getting good results. I keep saying I'm going to work out and I don't. I keep saying I'm going to eat healthy food and I don't. I keep saying I'm going to start the job, but I don't. I keep saying I'm going to quit the job and I don't. Because we keep doing what we've always done. Why? Because that's how we're programmed. Now, why am I sharing this with you? What's this got to do with desire? Well, it's huge because I've just explained to you there's a difference between the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is your intellect. This is where you think. This is where you gather information. This part of your mind, and you can write beside your little diagram, that part of your mind has the ability to accept or reject any ideas in life. So I can say to you tonight, you can achieve any goal that you could tell me that you want anything and I can show you how to get it. Like I just know this now, like a science. I've helped now 1,850 people in the last 6 years achieve their goals. So I know what I'm talking about and I've taught to hundreds of thousands. There's nothing that you could tell me that I would say, oh, okay, well, I mean, you can have anything, but not all of that. You can have anything. But listen to this. When I say that and you hear it with your ears, what is the voice inside saying? Do you believe that and accept it as truth? Or do you kind of go, well, I don't know, that might be okay for you, or, Sammy over here, or Joe Blogs over there, but maybe not me. Well, you see, what you're doing is you're rejecting the idea. So you're proving the point that I've said, the conscious mind can accept or reject, okay? So that's the conscious mind. Now, let's move on to the subconscious mind. The subconscious part of your mind is so different, and it is the best part of the mind. I know I'm getting a bit fuzzy because it's getting darker here, but the subconscious mind is, oh my goodness, so incredible. And my goodness, I never knew anything about it. And here's why it's the most perfect part of you. The subconscious mind is where you feel. So conscious is the thinker. The subconscious mind is the emotional mind. So I want you to write down emotional mind. And then I want you to underline the E under the emotion because it's energy in motion, emotion. Okay? And this is so important because there's energy moving to and through you. That's what your thoughts are. It's moving energy. And your subconscious mind is where you feel. That's where your heart is. Now, it's not technically where your heart is, but that's the feeling. That's the emotional part of you. Now, here's the really important part. Definitely write this down. Your subconscious mind can only accept. It cannot reject. Now, I mentioned earlier, Your conscious mind has the ability to accept a thought or reject a thought. But your subconscious mind, it can only accept. It is completely open. It's like a big sponge. And whatever you give over to it, it accepts right away. Now, again, this is neither negative or positive. It will accept a negative thought. It will accept a positive thought. So it's your job to start asking yourself, what am I planting in my subconscious mind? Am I planting stuff that is really serving me and leading me through life? Or am I entertaining thoughts that I'm not good enough, and I'm doing that over and over and over and over again? So suddenly it gets stuck in the subconscious. Well, that is what's happening. And then here's the next part. The subconscious mind, and this is definitely the biggest light bulb I've ever had in my life to date, was when Bob Proctor said to me, Kim, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between good or bad, or what is imagined or what is real. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is imagined or what is AKA reality. Now, why is that so incredible? Because if you learn how to use your imagination, that means you can put anything into your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, definitely write this down, your subconscious mind is where all results come from. The amount of money you earn, the quality of relationships you have, how you think about your own self, your self-confidence. It all comes from the subconscious. Why? Because I also told you to draw a little circle underneath about the body. So if you look at that picture, you'll realize that the only part that the body is connected to is the subconscious. So that's where it gets all of its kind of dictation from. So your subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's real or not. So what Bob taught me was, well, Kim, if you want to become a multimillionaire and have all these incredible things and serve people all over the world, you can. I'm going, really? He's like, yeah, but you've got to see it in your mind, and then you'll hold it in your hand. You've got to believe it. You've got to have it in your subconscious, because that's where all results come from. In fact, when I say all results, 96 to 98% of everything you do, all your behaviors, all your decisions, all your actions are getting there, being told what to do from your subconscious mind. 96 to 98%. So let's give you an example. We'll just use the gym, because I think everybody has went through this in their life. Consciously, they've thought, I'm going to go to the gym in the morning. Yes, I'm going to put out my trainers. I've got my gym bag. I've got my food prepped. I am on it. It is happening. I've got my alarm set. This is happening, right? And you're like, yes, I'm doing it. And consciously you're thinking, yes, I'm going to do it. But the next morning comes and your alarm goes off and it might be raining outside, and you suddenly kind of start to make up excuses to why you could go for a walk later, or you could go to the gym later. Okay. I bet you people are resonating. What happened? Your body hit the snooze button or didn't get out of bed. Your body physically did something, right? Maybe hit the snooze or roll over to the cold side of the pillow. Why? You didn't even want it to do it. You just did it because you actually want to go to the gym. You want to be fit. You want to be healthy. But that's not what you're doing. And so many times we're like, I know I should have went to the gym, but I didn't. And I don't know why I keep doing this. And I've been saying it every Monday. Well, the reason you're not doing it is because you're programmed at a subconscious level to have a habitual habit to roll over. And it doesn't matter how much you think or use willpower, because your consciousness only controls 2 to 4% of everything you do. That's incredible when you realize this. So all of your results that you're getting in life are coming from your habitual thinking, your habits and your beliefs. Now, again, Kim, what has this got to do with desire? Everything. Because here's what I want you to realize. That top part of the circle, the consciousness, that's where wants live. You want more money. You want better health. You want to quit your job and start a business. You want whatever it is that you want. I don't even care what you want, because that's nothing to do with me. You get choice. And believe it or not, guys, you have total choice. But you got to take responsibility by understanding the mind. Now, wants are at a conscious level. Desires are on a subconscious level. This is huge. This is why 3% win and the bigger proportion don't. Because most people just want more. They don't really desire more. In fact, most people want to be fit, but they really desire to lie in. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box. The desire to stay in bed was greater than the want to get fit. Yes, making sense. Good. Now, I'm just using a real simple analogy of the gym because I can relate to it. I've been there. And we've all been there. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. Please know that. You're not broken. You're not the one person in the entire universe this can't work for. Because everybody has a mind. Everybody is capable. In fact, the very fact that you're even breathing is physical, mental proof that you are destined to do more, have more, be more, give more. But the thing that's holding you back is these beliefs and habitual patterns of thinking that are locked in your subconscious mind. Now, if you followed me or you followed Bob Proctor's work, you'll know they're called paradigms. It's a very kind of big word. Took me a while to learn how to spell it. For a dyslexic, it's not fun. But a paradigm is basically a collection of habits or beliefs. Okay? And these paradigms, you can have paradigms around money, you can have paradigms around your health, you can have paradigms around work, you can have paradigms around lots. It's basically the view, the lens in which you view the world. Okay? That's what you're looking through. You're looking through beliefs, you're looking through habits. And most of the time, they're not your habits or your beliefs. They were passed down from generation and generation. Because like I said at the start, there was a little bit of mom and a little bit of dad came together to create you. So there was genetic programming, and then there was environmental programming. And I mean, just look at the world today. If you switch on the news, and please do not, but if you do, and ever ask yourself why they're called programs on TV? Because they're programming you. That's what's happening. Now, I'm not here going, oh, everyone's trying to program you. It's just how it is. It's not some big scary thing. It's just how we work. But if you look at, let's say, the news today, you could be quite frightened. You could be quite fearful. And that's why you've got to learn to understand how you can start to take back control of your mind so that you no longer are fearful. When you're in a state of fear, you're not going to attract abundance. It's just the bottom line. It ain't going to happen. You can't be focused on worries, doubts, fears, and start to take really productive, effective action in your business. It's kind of like putting the foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. You just spin your wheels. And of course, the more you spin your wheels, the more you go round in circles, the more you beat yourself up for it. Because you blame yourself, because you don't realize that actually it's these paradigms that are holding you back. Now, I could spend days upon days teaching about paradigms, and I will be at Inception, which is why, my goodness, grab your ticket for that. But why is this so important to desire? Because Bob says, and it's not just Bob, this is not Bob's material, this is universal principles. Bob just was the best person on this planet, the greatest master thinker of helping people understand this in a simple way. Even Einstein says, if you can't explain something simply, you simply don't understand it. I don't use highfalutin language. I don't try to be this big person. In fact, I'm very small, but I understand it and I can help you understand it. So what has this got to do with desire? Well, wants are on a conscious level. So you might want more. In fact, you all do. And you can make a list of what you want. But the key to turning a want into a desire is that you've got to become emotionally involved in your want. You've got to really see it in your mind's eye, not your eyeballs. Your eyes, your physical eyes in your head are looking through cells of recognition. That's really what's happening. You've got to go into your imagination. See, before I had my dream villa here, it was just an idea in my mind. I sat down with pen and paper, just like Bob taught me, and I started to write out in the present tense what I would really love. And I encourage you to do this. Have you ever actually stopped to write down what you really want? Not well, I want to get rid of this problem and I want to have more time. That's not what you want. What do you really want? What is in your heart? There's something in you. I know it. And you can feel it. It almost sometimes wants to come out of you. I remember before I left nursing and I got into this material, I felt like there was something pulling me. It was just in fact, when I was handing my notice, it felt like something else was handing in the notice, because part of me was going, oh no, what if I don't make it? What if I can't pay the mortgage? What if this doesn't work? What if this is just some big scam? But it wasn't. And it isn't. And that's why I love doing things like this, because I'm a real person getting real results. You're a real person who can get real results. But it all starts with asking yourself, what do I truly want? And let's say you want more money. Well, that's good, but that's not easy to get emotionally involved in, because nobody really wants, bits of paper with dead people's faces on it. Let's be honest. What you want is what the money can do for you. Money gives you opportunity, gives you choices, gives you freedom. So if you want more money, my question to you is, how much? Okay? Because that's another great part that most people never think of. They never really get specific in what they want. Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, says you must have a definite purpose. You got to have definiteness with what you want. So if you know what you want, then really get into the detail of it. How much do you want? And then the question is, what will you do with it? So many times I'm speaking to people and they say, okay, I want more. And I go, great. What do you want? And then they tell me, and I say, great. What are you going to do with it? And they kind of look at me, and there's usually a bit of a pause, and they kind of go, well, I'd like to go on a holiday, and I would maybe pay the house off and maybe get a new car, and I'll give money to family. And I go, great. What are you going to do next month? What are you going to do the month after that? What are you going to do the month after that? Because here's the beautiful thing, guys. You can turn your annual income into a monthly income, and it just keeps coming every single month, every single year on a consistent basis. Now that, again, is maybe a big idea, but I've done it. You can do it. My clients have done it. You can do it. People all over the world are doing it. You can do it. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter where you're starting. Doesn't matter what you have or don't have. You can do it, but you've got to want to do it. Then you got to desire to do it. Now, moving the want from a conscious level into a subconscious level, as I said, you have to become emotionally involved. So I want you tonight to really sit down and ask yourself, what is the picture that I want? What is it I really want to create? What will the money allow you to do? Maybe some of you are here, I just want to be happy. I'm really sorry to tell you that's also a pretty not great goal, because I believe that is absolutely the essence. That's just a given. You should be happy. Now, a lot of people are not happy, but happy is not a good goal because it's intangible. How are you going to know when you're happy? It's very hard to measure. It's very hard to understand. I want you to be happy regardless. That shouldn't be a goal. That's your birthright. So if you start to build the image of what you want and you start to write it out and you start to get details into it, let's say you've now decided, well, I would love to go on a holiday. Great. Where would you love to go with your family? Maybe, is it your family you want to bring? Is it somebody else you want to bring? What do you want to do with that? My biggest tip to you is to make it about love. Make it about love. Make it about something bigger than yourself. Because I'm telling you now, as awesome as you are, your whole purpose is bigger than what you are. And maybe you're sitting here tonight going, Kim, I don't know my purpose. Your purpose is to create. Your purpose is to show up. Your purpose is to do whatever you want to do. Now, the only thing that is going to stop you from moving a want from a conscious to a subconscious level. Now, remember, all results come from the subconscious mind. All results. Okay? So it must be planted in the subconscious if you want to achieve the goal. Like if I wanted the villa that I've now got, I had to become emotionally involved in it. I had to bury it in my subconscious mind. I had to plant it in there. I had to move it from a conscious to a subconscious level. And the way that you move it is by getting emotionally involved in it. Write the picture out. Lift your pen. The best way to do this is pretend that you've already achieved it. In the present tense. Like pretend like you're writing a letter to your friend and you're telling them, oh my goodness, you're not going to believe it. I have just bought my dream villa in the sun. It is so awesome. There's this many bedrooms. We've got this, we've got that. That's what I did. Way before I ever had the means to achieve the villa. And it's so funny. When you get really specific, the law of cause and effect, which is, the fundamental law. You might have heard of the law of attraction. The law of attraction is a secondary law. If you don't understand the law of vibration, you're never going to attract anything. Okay. Well, in fact, that's not true. You're always attracting, but you won't attract what you want. You only attract what you're in harmony with. And that means anything that's in the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill said, any idea that is held in the mind, that is feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient form available. So you see, you've got to keep this goal. You've got to keep this want in your mind, and you've got to keep adding to it. You've got to keep pretending. Remember I said the subconscious mind doesn't know any different? Well, if you keep telling yourself it, it starts to believe it. Now, if that sounds absolutely ludicrous to you, well, let's prove that I'm right. Are you the person, perhaps, that if there was 10 people in front of you and 9 people said you're stunning, you're gorgeous, you're so good at your job, you're just amazing, but then one person says, no, you're not all that. Which person do you listen to? Is it the 1 or the 9? If it's the 1, which most of the time it is, it's because you have decided to believe that you're not worthy, that you're all these things. And yet there's 9 people saying that's not true, but you don't believe them. Why do you believe that you're not good enough? Because you've thought it over and 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 over again. Or you've heard it from somebody. Because it's not always internal. It might be somebody outside. You might be in a difficult relationship or a difficult upbringing. And you just heard it over and over. Well, guess what? That sticks. Why? Because the subconscious mind accepts anything you give it. It doesn't know whether it's real or not. But if you keep handing it over, it believes it. And then guess what? It reproduces it. So don't tell me that writing about having your dream over and over and over again doesn't work, because you're absolutely proving it, but unfortunately sometimes for the negative. What you can do is you can flip it. Now, there's one thing that is in the way, and this is something that I won't be able to share tonight on this webinar because we definitely need longer together. If you're going to plant this in your subconscious mind, where it must be, if you want it to show in physical results, you've got to get all the negative stuff moved out of the way. Because the truth is, guys, this is not the first time you wanted this. But what happens is you want it, you think about it, and usually within a split second, the little voice comes up. Well, this is why you can't have it. And this is why it may not be a good time to do it. And you don't have the money for that. And, well, what are the friends going to think? And blah, 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 blah. It's almost instantaneously. Every time you start to dream, this little voice comes up and just grabs it. Does anybody ever feel that? Does anyone ever feel like there's a tug of war going on in their mind? You want it, but you don't think you can do it. You'd like to start the job, but you're afraid it won't work. Yes. Well, that's your conscious and your subconscious having a little battle. And I mean, I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure the 96 to 98% is going to win over the 2 to 4%. So in order for you to effectively move your wants into a desire, you must change the pattern. You must change your habitual way of thinking. That's what I've done. That's what my clients have done. That's what you can do. There's a process to doing that. I couldn't even share it with you now and you just go, okay, done. Because let's be honest, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. It's a process that you've got to learn. You've got to understand paradigms. You've got to understand positive beliefs, negative beliefs, your self-image. You've got to understand all of these things so that you can actually put your goals into your subconscious mind. Now, when you learn to do that, everything in your world will start to change. And you know what happens? Because a lot of people I find these days, they know what they want, but they procrastinate. Anybody procrastinate in here? Well, procrastination is the inability to make a decision. You kind of move it around the table. Oh, I'm going to do that later. And we procrastinate. That's a habit. That is a habit in your subconscious mind. And you don't want to do it on your conscious mind, but you always do it. The body moves. Do you know why the body moves? Here's something I want you to write down. Desire is the trigger mechanism to action. Now, another thing, it's automatic. You don't think about it. Like think back to when you learned how to drive a car. You were really consciously focusing, 10 to 2. I don't even think they use that anymore. Check the mirrors. Now we're driving and we're just cruising along and we're chatting and we're doing all sorts of stuff because it's programmed. You know where the gear stick is. You don't have to look. You know how to do it. It's programmed into you. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. Well, here's the thing that I've learned. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. They're in the habit of automatically doing things that are going to bring them success. You're not in the habit of doing it, especially if you're procrastinating. You don't even want to procrastinate, but you're in the habit of doing it. It's automatic. Sometimes a whole week is gone and you're kind of like, what did I do this week? I was so busy, but I couldn't even tell you what I got done. And that's because of this automatic. So what you've got to realize is desire is the trigger mechanism for action. Why I'm really moving on that is because do not fall into a trap that nearly every corporation, every leader, every person in business, every person in life falls into, which is, well, I'm just going to try a wee bit harder. I'm going to work more. I'm going to get more education. I'm going to do better. And we are trying to take more action. And why we don't seem to be getting anywhere any faster is because we haven't changed the programming. So desire is the trigger mechanism for action. So why I'm sharing this with you is because sometimes it's, you kind of have to force yourself to take action, and that's not fun. Imagine you woke up every day and you just automatically went into positive habitual actions that are going to get you a positive outcome. I always say to my clients, it's like brushing your teeth. Nobody has to think about it. We just do it. We get up in the morning, we brush our teeth. Can you imagine just for a second as an adult right now, if we never were taught that, and I said to you, okay, there's these two things you need to do every day. You need to get up in the morning, you need to put this little plastic brush in your mouth, and you need to do this, and you need to do it before bed. I guarantee you, most of you wouldn't do it because you're not in the habit of doing it. It would be such an inconvenience, or you wouldn't have time to do it. But because you made it a habit from you were a child, you always have time to brush your teeth. You always do it without even thinking. And that always made me think, wow, what if I automatically just did the things that were going to bring me success? And it wasn't such a chore. Like if some of you are in sales, reaching out to prospects, reaching out to people, connecting, whatever way it is, whatever your business is, whatever your thing is, maybe it's just going to the gym. If you're not in the habit of doing it, it becomes a bit of a hard work. And that's why you procrastinate, because you put it off. And then you feel awful. And then your energy goes low. And of course, the money doesn't go up. I don't teach people that money just suddenly, zaps into your bank account. That is ridiculous. Money is earned. But when you understand how to work less and earn more by automatically doing the things in the right order from a great energy standpoint, because you don't have these negative limiting beliefs, you don't have this tug of war slowing you down, you will speed up and you will calm down in the mind. And it is the most beautiful thing, because a lot of people in the world right now, their mind is just going crazy inside. And we become anxious and we become fearful. And then we take actions hoping and praying that it'll work. But guess what? It'll only give you back what you put out, which is fear, which is worry. That's not going to bring you abundance. That's not going to increase your income. That's not going to help you sell if you're in sales, and everybody usually is in sales. Like, this is not just something to feel good. This is not just something so that you feel positive and happy. This is life. I've helped people grow their income by millions. Now, you may not want millions, and that's okay. I don't care what you want. You get to decide. I just show you how to do it. So tonight, I really hope that makes a lot of sense to you. Let me know if there's been some light bulbs tonight going off. Let me know in the chat box. Now, the last part, and this is really important. There is only one prerequisite to achieving anything that you want. And that is, you've got to make a decision. Because in order, and this is just the absolute truth, guys, unless you are willing to decide and commit to changing your thinking, this will just be another webinar that made you feel fluffy and warm outside and really won't make a difference. Okay? And I'm just being brutally honest. I'm not here as a motivational speaker. I'm here as somebody who understands this and who cares about helping people, because I've seen it with my own eyes. I experience it, and I just know that there is greatness within you. I know there's infinite potential within you, seeking expression without. That's why you feel this pull, and you got to stop denying it. You got to stop listening to other people that say you can't do it. You're hanging around the wrong people. Come and hang around me for 2 days at Inception, and I'll tell you, you will take off like a rocket. This is possible for you, and you may not believe it right now, but if you can just borrow my belief, like I borrowed Bob's, I guarantee you, you will achieve everything that you want. And you don't have to do it alone, but you do have to make a decision. And Bob always told me, Kim, there's only one question that you've got to ask yourself when you're making a decision. And that is, do you want it? And that seems so absurd because that's not how I was brought up. That's the only question. Do you want it? And the answer is, yes, of course I want it. Now you might ask yourself, well, how and where's the money going to come from? You don't need to know any of that. And I know that sounds, again, airy furry, but again, you come to Inception and I'm like in Inception, I'm sharing everything I've been taught for the last 6 years. And I'm only young in this. But I am basically taking what Bob Proctor taught me. I've went to all his live events. I am putting on this live event. I don't know when we'll do it again, but this is the highlight in our calendar. I'm going to get the link popped in for anybody that needs it. You've just got to ask yourself, do you want it? You don't need to know where the money is. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. I had no idea. I had £4.20 to my name. I didn't know how I was going to build a multi-million-dollar company. I didn't know how on earth I would ever build a villa in Spain. But it works. The way is shown. I teach people how to develop an unwavering faith. See, when you have faith in yourself and you don't doubt yourself, because that's really the only thing is holding you back. You keep doubting yourself. You keep listening to other people. You keep letting the little negative programming that has been holding you back your whole life to keep you where you are. What if you just made this one decision to spend 2 days with me? And yes, I want you to come to this. And yes, I'm selling you right now. But I'm not selling you me. I'm selling you and yourself. All I'm asking you to do is to just, if anything has resonated with you tonight and anything that I've said, if it has made sense, if it has resonated, then I want you to get your ticket and come and be with me for 2 days at Inception. It's at the end of this month. If you're busy, get unbusy. If you're working, just leave. If you can't come over live, buy a live streaming ticket. If you've got an excuse of, oh, well, I'm busy those 2 days, there's replays. Like, I have covered every excuse under the sun. All right. I have made it such a ridiculous small investment. I am going to give you tens of, probably hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of value, because it's everything that I've learned, and I've invested hundreds of thousands, and I'm the best in the world at teaching it. So I want to help you. I want to serve you. I want you to get your ticket. The link is in the chat box. But the biggest thing from tonight, and my takeaway point for you to act on, is lift a pen up tonight. Don't go to bed until you've done this. Take a pen, and I want you to write out, I am so happy and grateful now that. And I want you to talk in the present tense of all the things that you've created, as if you've done them. Remember, your subconscious doesn't know that you haven't. Now, this won't make everything come true tomorrow, because unfortunately, if you don't come and learn from us and start to really change the programming, nothing will change. That is just the truth. And I have people come back to me months, years, and go, oh, Kim, why didn't I listen to you a year ago? And I don't go, I told you so. I just go, it's okay, because now's the perfect timing. I can tell you all now one thing. You're exactly where you need to be. Everything is working out for you. And if you don't come to Inception, I'm not going to be annoyed. I'm going to continue helping people. But I just want you to give yourself this opportunity. I want you to give yourself this gift, because it is one that will repay you for life. You've got to really ask yourself, not how much does it cost, but how much will it cost you if you don't? Because here's the thing, you're going to spend the time, the 30th and 31st of July are going to happen. They're going to come, they're going to go. So the time's going to be spent. You're definitely going to spend the money because we've asked for so little in return. So my thing is, you're spending the time, you're spending the money. Why don't you just put it in you? This isn't about me. This is about you. And Bob says, all you got to do is make a decision. A decision is when you flip onto a different frequency, a different way of thinking, and you'll find the way, you'll find the time, you'll find the money. But until you decide that you're going, you won't. So don't wait to see if you've got the time or the money. Decide right now, I'm going to be there. In fact, tell me in the chat box if you're going to be there. Say boom, because that's my favorite word. Boom, if you're getting your ticket tonight. Now, if you're coming in person, good to see you all. If you're coming in person, we have only a limited amount of tickets left. So, I mean, in person is always going to be the best. If you're wondering what it's going to be like, oh my goodness. If anybody has ever been to a paradigm shift like Bob put on, it's very similar to that, but in my own kind of dynamite style. It is the most incredible, contagious environment. The energy in the room is palpable. You're going to meet people. You're going to network with people. Even if you join us for the live stream, we don't do things like everyone else. We are so unique. We are always wanting to give more. So no matter whether you come in person or whether you come on a live stream, we'd love to have you in person, because that's just, you can't beat that. And we haven't got to do it in so long. And when I get on stage, guys, I mean, I can't even stop myself. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. So many people are saying, boom, I'm in. Good. Let's drop the link one more time for anybody that hasn't got it. Tonight, guys, write it out. Lift a pen. Decide what you want. Write it out in the present tense. Because when you see all of this in its glory and you start to get emotionally involved in it, that's going to help you move to the next stage. And then if you come to Inception, I'm going to give you all of the other steps. Desire is the first principle of success. There's really 13 principles. So this is not something that I could ever just give you in a webinar. And you know what? Anybody that tells you can, they're lying. I don't lie. And I'm not lying here, and I'm not lying to you. What I know is the truth, and the truth resonates. And that's why I said, if tonight resonated with you, it's meant to be. Grab your ticket. Share this with other people. If you've found tonight of value, please do share it. Join us on social media if you haven't already, and let other people know. Bring somebody. In fact, here's something that I dare you to do, because this would be really fun. I dare you to buy a ticket for somebody else as well as yourself. Because you see, when you give to other people, giving is the real law of prosperity. The more you give to others, the more you will have. See, if you're the source for someone else, you'll never be left behind. And it's the same with patience. If you want more patience in your life, give more patience. If you want more love in your life, give more love in your life. If you want more money, give more money. See, if you get a ticket for somebody else as a gift, you'll change their whole life. I guarantee you. And the amount of money that you pay for that ticket, I guarantee you, it will come back to you multiplied. And if you don't believe me, or you're just maybe wondering, is this stuff all real? Test it. Try it. Because I guarantee you that will happen. All right. Now, I've went on for 95 minutes. So I'm going to go. And I hope and trust that you have had a wonderful session here tonight. I apologize. My vision is quite blurry, but it's just poor lighting. I'm not in my studio at home. But it's not about me. It's not about what I look like. It's about you. And if you've heard my voice and you've heard these words, then the vibration has probably and hopefully hit your heart. And that's what's important to me and what is important to you. So grab your ticket, guys. Come and spend 2 days. This was 90 minutes. I'm going to be talking for 2 days, 6 odd hours each day, full workbook about this thick. And I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. You can guarantee that. All right. It has been my pleasure. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. And I will see you all on the other side. Bye-bye.